What is up, everybody? Roy here, and today I want you to grab your Master Seals, your 11 Swords, and your Wolf Veil, because today I will be ranking the top 5 Fire Emblem games of all time. Now, instead of this being my own personal favorite games on this list, like, oh, I love Path of Radiance #1, no. I will be ranking the Fire Emblem series games off of 3 criteria: the plot of the game, the features of the game, meaning the support conversations, arenas, any features that add quality in the game, and the last criteria are the characters in the game and how well developed they are. I do have a few exceptions on this list. For example, I had yet to complete Thracia 776 and Genealogy of the Holy War, so I will not be adding them here because it wouldn't be fair if I haven't completed games yet and added them in anyways. They will be completed within the next year, and they will be the focal point of next Fire Emblem month, so look forward to that. And hopefully you guys are excited, because without further ado, let's get ready for the top 5 best Fire Emblem games. And remember, don't be a Dono, don't grab that pitchfork. Just sit and enjoy the show. Fire Emblem Awakening was a game I was diehard against. I refused to play it, I hated it for how much it changed with the Fire Emblem series, and I also hated its art style. But once I played it a year after its initial release, I was pleasantly surprised. While none of the main characters stuck out too much, it still had great features and some really good side characters that brought the game into its own. I also really enjoyed the time traveling mechanic that was very present in the game. For example, if 2 characters fought a lot together in multiple battles, they would go up in support ranking like every other Fire Emblem game, from C to B to A, each one having its own conversation that's specialized to the 2 characters. Now, if you choose to rank the 2 characters up further to S rank after they fight a lot more, then they will get married, and you're able to play a new side chapter where you're able to recruit a new soldier who turns out to be their child who's from the future and had traveled back to join your ranks. It's a really nice feature that gives you a nice touch to Awakening, and while this feature had already been done in a bit of a different way back on the Super Famicom, that game never saw release outside of America, so Awakening was technically the first game the world saw this feature in. While Awakening's plot is definitely not great compared to other games in the Fire Emblem series, and doesn't do much to push boundaries of the franchise, it's still really good by normal standards. Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones is awesome! You know why? Spears! Aw yeah. You know why else? Neighboring nations attacking randomly and destroying your homeland, causing you to go after said nation and find out about an ancient evil curse on the leader of the bad guys. Because that plot hasn't run its course yet. In all seriousness, Fire Emblem and the Sacred Stones was a great FE experience, being the first Fire Emblem game outside of Japan that featured a real-world map hub with shops and arenas and side missions. And as I said before, the story of the game isn't something brand new in the series, but what makes this game stand out isn't the story, but its awesome characters. Almost every single character in this game stood out. They were each unique, and even if you didn't put time to leveling them up and keeping them around, you still got that impression from them. I also love the branching paths in this game, how halfway through you can choose to go with the character you've been with, or the character that's just so cool. It's a really nice touch in this game that I wasn't expecting when I first played it. And now it's time for the mysterious, the incredible, amazing, world-renowned Fire Emblem experience that everybody loved. Fire Emblem the Sword of Seals! Oh my god. Help me! In all seriousness, Fire Emblem the Sword of Seals is a good game. Many trash it, but I consider it a good Fire Emblem game because it keeps the core gameplay of the series close to its chest, and I really appreciate that. Especially the state of the new Fire Emblem games. And Sword of Seals did lay some great foundation for the rest of the series. But more specifically, it laid the groundwork for Rekka no Ken, also known as Fire Emblem GBA. When I think about what a Fire Emblem game is, and what a Fire Emblem game looks and plays like, I think of this game. Rekka no Ken, to me, is Fire Emblem. It's almost like it's the game that all previous Fire Emblem games were leading up to. Shadow Dragon, the Blade of Light, created the idea of Fire Emblem, then guided and experimented and played around with what would become the formula, and then Shadow Dragon for the Super Nintendo instantiated the Fire Emblem series and gave it a long, series-lasting formula. Then some other stuff happened and boom! Rekka no Ken released. It had the gameplay, it had the graphics, it had good map design, and it has a great story. But what I loved the most about Fire Emblem series as a kid was how it had that medieval feel. It mixed its story that had realistic medieval aspects with its own fantastical myth and lore to create an awesome plot. I mean, the game has power-hungry fools who assassinated their own family to get power and try to keep it that way, knights who serve and protect their kingdoms and their kings to the death, and mysterious assassins with unknown motives. Things that all felt very medieval. I was always a history nut, and I loved medieval history, and you can just feel the atmosphere of that in this game. And with all this, it still had room for excellent implementation of myth and lore, and fictional creatures like dragons and Pegasus to keep the game fresh. Honestly, this is one of the best Fire Emblem experiences you can get, and I literally mean that. It's on Virtual Console, so you should have it. I mean, if you don't, you're just a friggin' monster. While Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is my personal favorite game of the series, it doesn't quite beat out number 1 objectively. Even still, Path of Radiance is undoubtedly a great within the series. But sadly, this game was produced in some of the Fire Emblem series' hardest times and saw poor sales in the grand scheme of things, leaving it relatively obscure and unknown to the world until the inclusion of Ike in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where the game got a little bit more attention. The game has a great plot and really plays with what we think of a Fire Emblem game. It has a unique storyline where instead of being a prince fighting the evil of the world with a colorful cast of characters, you instead are a mercenary simply doing a few jobs when all of a sudden you're thrusted into a war and Ike has to take charge of his father's mercenary band and make it into an army to fight against the evil, which may sound familiar and similar, but this game gave us an unusual amount of time with some of the enemy troops and made players realize that things aren't so black and white in this game and that everything is truly a shade in between, which was a nice spin on the whole entire trope. There's also a political side of the story, which intertwines greatly with the main plot. Each character has incredible support conversations and a great story and reason for why they joined Ike's army. They drive us to continue chapter after chapter to find out more of their story, and if the game's narrative will affect them in any way. I love Fire Emblem. It's awesome. It's got great stories, awesome characters, and some sweet gameplay. And I love playing through these games, and having almost played through every single one, I decided to do a top 5, which you're watching now, and it's definitely been one of the toughest jobs I've had to do on this channel, as ranking and choosing objectively which ones are the best. It was a tough job, but I've known from the beginning what the best Fire Emblem game of all time is. It is without a doubt Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn embodies what a Fire Emblem game is. It's not easy, but it's so rewarding in that fact. When you beat a level, you feel a sense of accomplishment that almost no other game can give you. It is an awesome Fire Emblem game, and it is the best FE game I have played. It is everything Path of Radiance is, just a bit better. Guys, if you have a Nintendo Wii and $500 to spare, I'm sorry, the game is really expensive. If you have the money to spare, try to buy yourself a copy of Radiant Dawn because it's such a good game with a great story, great characters, and it's just amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching my top 5 Fire Emblem games. I know there's going to be a lot of heated debates down in the comments, and I'm mentally preparing myself for that right now. But thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. If you really liked it, give it a like and comment down below what is your personal favorite Fire Emblem game of all time. And I really hope you guys are enjoying Fire Emblem Month thus far. I'm really excited to get it going even more with top 5 villains next week, and after that being Fates. Sorry about the lull last week, I just had some tech difficulties, but everything's solved. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye.